Kat. Instead of writing a blog this week, I wanted to tell you some stories from our time with Wipe Every Tear. Wipe Every Tear is an organization who rescues women from the sex trade. Last week, me and my team went to a red light district in Angeles City, and we offered the women in the bars freedom. Most of these women were born into poverty, and they were tricked and manipulated into coming to Angeles City, and now they are stuck working in these bars. These women are just like you and me. They have family, they have children, and we just have a heart to see them set free. Here are some stories on how God showed up during our week working with Wipe Every Tear.
Ready? Hi! I'm Malika, and I am a new friend of Kat's, and I've been asked to share a story that is very near and dear to my heart while we have been here in the Philippines working alongside with Wipe Every Tear. So on our second night, which was this past Tuesday, we had the amazing experience of not only just showing love to a young girl, 19 years old, however, she also decided that that night was going to be her last night. And so the story behind her is she's 19 and she had started school, and she was studying to be a chef. She was taking a course in culinary. However, her family was really struggling financially, and so some of the weight, a lot of the weight, all of the weight became her responsibility financially. And so she was offered by a friend a waitressing job, and she worked in that one particular pub for about a month and realized that she was not making the money that she needed to support her family the way that they needed. And so another opportunity opened up in another club, and that club then made her a dancer. And so on Tuesday night, when we invited her to come and sit with us, she let us know that she had only been there 1 week, and she had been a dancer for 1 week. And so with Wipe Every Tear, our mission and our assignment specifically this week was to share with every girl that we met about the Girls Getaway at Puerto Galera, which is an amazing resort on a completely different island. And really what it is it's just an opportunity to give them some vacation time, some rest from the heaviness and just this work that they're doing here on the walking street in Angeles City. And we just wanted to provide them with a safe environment, and for us to introduce to them what Wipe Every Tear offers, which is housing, education, fully funded by Wipe Every Tear, and the opportunity to then have a career after that. Even a lot of these women do have children and they're single moms, and it even gives them support for their children as well. And so that's the getaway. And so we had these cards that we were offering all of the young women. And so this young lady happened to ask me, she said, "So you're here on vacation?" I said, "Yeah, we're here on vacation, but I'm here for another reason too." And she said, "Oh, okay." I said, "But I'm really going on vacation this coming weekend." And I told her where it was. I said, "It's at Puerto Galera." And she's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have so much fun. I wanna go." And I said, "You do? You can come with me if you want." And she's like, yes, I want to go. And she just started cheering, and we had never gotten reception like that, or response from any other girl we had met the night before or that night. And so I pulled out the card and I showed her all of the different details about it being all expenses paid, about it also supplying her financial compensation for the nights that she'll miss working those four nights. And so at that point, I just really sensed the Holy Spirit saying to me, let her know that she doesn't have to spend another day if she doesn't want to in this place. So I just leaned over to her and I whispered to her, I said, "You don't have to spend another day in here if you don't want to. Like, tonight can be your last night." And she said, yes, that's what I want. And so we called over our Filipina lead who is leading our group, and she happens to be an amazing woman who's graduating with her degree just this month or next month, and has been a part of this ministry for the past 4 years. And just like someone like me met her at the place that she was at and brought her out of the sex trade. And so she came over and she began sharing her own personal testimony with the young 19-year-old that we were talking to. And that 19-year-old began to weep. She began to cry right there in the middle of the bar. And our lead tells us, she's like, this young girl, she's born again. And we all just looked at each other like, what? So in my mind, I'm like, yes, I can freely talk about Jesus now to her. And so she just started nodding her head. She's like, yes, yes, ma'am. My family has been born again for years. And then she shares with us, she said, I was a worship leader at my church. And we all were just so taken aback. Literally, we started weeping and crying in the middle of the bar. I mean, I'm sure all of the other dancers and all the other mama sons and papa sons and managers were looking to see what was going on, but it was a God thing going on. That's what was happening. And so from that point on, we were the Lord then put it on my heart. He said, let her know that she doesn't have to wait till tomorrow. She can leave with you right now. And I was like, okay, let's chance it. And I leaned over to her and I said, we're getting ready to leave in just a little bit. And I said, Wipe Every Tear is an amazing organization who can help you from this night on if you want to come. There was no hesitation. There was no convincing her. It was as if she knew that the prayers that she had been praying, which she admitted she had been praying every night, God, get me out of here. God, give me another way to support my family. And I asked her that, and she confirmed that. It was as if she knew that that night was her night. And she said, I want to be off duty now. I want to be off duty now. And so our Filipina, she was a little nervous, and she admits it. And so she was calling her director, like, what do I do? How do we do this? She wants to leave right now. You know, what about her mama san? What about, you know, the bar manager? And it was as if God seriously orchestrated everything. It was such a smooth transition from the amount of us having to pay for her for the rest of the night. I mean, of course, it's a business, right? And so we had to pay for her for the rest of the night. And then she literally ran to the backstage, changed her clothes. And when she came out of that curtain with her regular clothes on, there was just this boldness and this courage in her that just knew, I'm not gonna stop. I'm walking out with this group. I'm walking out with this team, with these new friends that I have met. And it was so amazing because she was even high-fiving like the bouncers and the managers in the club. I was blown away. I was just blown away at what was going on and what God was doing in that moment. And so, I mean, here we are on Friday, and she has been with us ever since then. Honestly, even the next night that we went out to do ministry again, she came with us. She wasted no time to go back in and to be the light that someone else was to her just the night before. So, I mean, that's just one of the many examples of what we have encountered with God's love and the power of the demonstration of His miracles right then and there. It was tangible for us, and so that's the story, and it's an amazing one, and I'm just so excited to see what God is going to do through her life in the years to come.
So I met this girl named Christine in Club Raw, and she was actually our waitress. And I got to know her really well. She's really sweet. She has 4 siblings that are younger than her, and she is expected to provide for all of them on her 200 pesos, which is about $4 a night. That all goes to her siblings. She gets none of it. And she actually was pulled into the bars because they told her that it was a marketing job, like answering telephones, answering questions, and it wasn't. And she told me that whenever she doesn't get tipped, a lot of times she gets forced to dance on stage, which is a punishment for them because they don't want to dance because they don't want to show their bodies that way, and the dancers are always dressed in less than the servers. And I invited her to come to McDonald's and pay for her breakfast when she got off work at 3 a.m. And she came really quickly just to say hello and see me at 3 a.m. and said, I'm sorry, I can't stay because if I'm seen with you, I'll get fired and they will hurt me and do really bad things to me. And I said, Christine, what do you mean? And she said, they told me that if I go with Wipe Every Tear, that Wipe Every Tear will kill me, and that if I leave here, that they will make sure that I never find a job anywhere, and that if they see me around, that they will do really bad things. And I said, I actually just was speechless. I didn't have anything to say because the mama sans, which is like the pimps of these girls, and the bar owners threaten these girls and tell them lies. And the thing is, like, Wipe Every Tear is filled with so much truthful freedom, and these girls are getting told lies that it's not.
So we're going in there again and again to make sure that these girls realize what is true and what's so unbelievable is actually there. That free schooling and an allowance for them so that they can send money back to their homes, it's all there for them, and all they have to do is get on the bus in the morning and they receive that freedom. And I hope and pray that Christine is able to get out safely without getting hurt. And I'm just continuing to pray for her. So if you want to pray for her as well and all the other girls and their stories that you're hearing about, that would be rock star awesome and really appreciated, because these girls are honestly the hardest working women I have ever met. They work so hard for their whole families. They're expected to provide for their whole families on $4 a day by selling themselves to men, but it's more them not selling themselves, it's these bars selling them, and them getting pulled in with a lie. And it's really, really, really sad seeing them, because whenever they get called down, you call them like this, and honestly, I think 8 times out of 10 of the women that I've called down, they shake their head no. And I'm a female myself, and I'm here to bring them freedom, and they still say no. And sometimes if they say no, then they get out this laser pointer and point it out the women, like the men do. And if they don't go down, they get in a lot of trouble, and they get 50 pesos of their pay taken away. That's a whole $1 taken away. And $1 can go so far here. So these girls are genuinely enslaved in these places and don't have a choice in what they're doing. And so much prayer is needed in this place. So much prayer. Prayer is the most impactful thing we as humans can take part in, and you can take part in it just from your bedroom. So yeah, that's all the story I have to tell, but yeah, please pray.
Sorry. So the first bar I walked into was me and my mom and my dad and a couple other people were with us, and we walked in, and I just remember the first like 20 minutes and they're just sitting there so uncomfortable. Just like seeing the girls on stage and seeing them dance and like having your parents right beside you was just like one of the weirdest situations I've ever been in, for sure. And then one of the White River Cheer girls looked over at me and she said, "You should go get a girl. You and your mom should go get a girl." And so I grabbed my mom's hand, who was terrified. I was terrified, but she was twice as terrified. I grabbed her hand, I was like, "Mom, we gotta go do this." And so I pulled her along, we walked her to the stage, and the girl who had drew our attention was kind of in the back. She had her arms crossed, just seemed really sad. And we called her down, and I just remember the look of terror on her face as like she wondered, what are these people gonna do to me? It took her like 45 seconds to get off that stage to come down with us, just because of like utter shock. And that was for me a huge wake-up call, because like it was at that moment that I realized most of these girls are horrified. They're terrified at the things that these people are gonna do. And that was like, my heart just like went out to her. It was really cool just to see as like the conversation went on, and we told her why we were there and just what White Memory Tier does and how we were just offering education. It was cool to see how she like was this quiet, sad girl turned into just like a bubbly normal girl. And just to know that they're all normal. They may be scared, they may be having to do things that they don't want to do, but like when it comes down to it, they're just like everyone else, any other girl that might be in your life, whether it's your sister or your brother. So.
The first bar that I went into was called Lancelot. Me and my friend Josie, we walked in with a few of the other guys on our team, and immediately felt this like we physically felt sick because it was just so dark in that bar. And so we walked out. She prayed over ourselves, over the bar, over the girls that we'd meet. We walked right back in. I didn't really want to, but did it anyway. We sat down with a few girls. We got to talk to them, got to know them. And then my friend Nick, he was talking to this guy, and I didn't know who it was, so I went over there. I just kind of sat and observed for a little bit. Turns out that Nick had told this guy his story, like part of his testimony, and this guy ended up being the bar manager. And so because Nick told him his story, the bar manager then proceeded to take all of our Wipe Every Tear cards with the information on it, hand it out to all of his girls, call down all the girls from stage to talk to us, and also then expressed to us that he wanted to quit his job as the bar manager, that he was just so sick and tired of the abuse and the just sick reality of what these girls have to do to earn money for their families or for their siblings. And so that was really freaking cool, blew my mind, just because when we immediately walked in, like, we just felt sick and we didn't want to go in there. We wanted to go to another bar, but the Lord clearly had us go to that bar for a reason, and that was because Henry, the bar manager, wanted to be done, absolutely done, and sick and frustrated of holding these girls captive. So that was really cool, and it really blew my mind, and the Lord is very intentional in placing us where He placed us.
Hey guys, this is Todd McVicker. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. This is actually my second time to the Philippines working with Wipe Every Tear, and this trip has just been absolutely amazing. We've seen God moves in some really, really cool ways. We've seen a couple of girls actually leave the bars. They've decided that they are done with this lifestyle and they are off of the streets and with Wipe Every Tear now. Right now we have about 25 girls that are going to come with us to the Girls Getaway this weekend. We're expecting to see over 50 girls come to that. And I just want to tell you a quick story about one of the things that happened last night. We went into a small club, very small. There's probably only 10 girls or so there. And we sit down, and immediately I see this girl at the very end of the bar, and she's not dressed like the other girls. So that kind of signified to me that something's different here. So I called her down and asked her, hey, why aren't you dressed like the other girls? And she said that last night was actually her first night ever in the bar. So she was there one day. She was dressed differently because there was too many girls working that night, so she was going to leave at 9 o'clock. So we talked to her for quite a while, found out her name is Glory, and actually today is her birthday, and we're expecting her to show up for lunch with us. We got her a birthday cake, a candle, the whole thing. We're going to celebrate. She told us last night that she is definitely coming to the Girls Getaway, and once we get back from that, she is done with that lifestyle, and she's going to come and partner with Wipe Every Tear. She's going to get an education. She wants to be a chef, and we're just so amazed that God would show up and use us to impact people's lives. People are literally being saved from a lifestyle of slavery and bondage and being brought to the kingdom. That's what this is about. Everything that's behind me, everything that we're doing here is to really see the good news lived out, not just preaching stuff, but seeing God actually change lives, and we get to be a part of that. Thank you.